You did everything right. You switched from milk chocolate to dark. You chose 85%. Maybe you even went organic. And then someone told you about cadmium. And suddenly you are reading labels, searching brand names online, wondering, do I actually know what I'm eating? Good question. Let's find it out. I am Dr. Lucia Aronica, lecturer in epigenetics and nutrigenomics at Stanford University. My field is epinutrition, the science of how the food you eat sends instructions to your genes. After my video on the best and worst chocolate for your health, hundreds of you had the same question. What about cadmium? If you missed that video, watch it first. Link is here. Today, I'm answering your top 5 questions, not with fear, not with oversimplification, with the biology you actually need to make better decisions. And stay until the end because I have a bonus point that most people, even in the science world, don't know yet. So, let's go. Question number 1. How does cadmium get into chocolate? Cadmium is not added to chocolate. No factory puts it in. It's a naturally occurring element in the Earth's crust since the planet formed, though pollution has pushed topsoil concentrations well past natural levels worldwide. Cocoa trees absorb minerals through their roots. West African countries, Ghana, Ivory Coast, where about 70% of the world's cocoa is grown, have naturally low cadmium soils. Parts of Latin America, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia are geologically much higher in cadmium. These regions also produce some of the most celebrated aromatic cacao in the world. Beautiful chocolate, more complex flavor profiles, and potentially higher cadmium. Question number 2. What does cadmium actually do inside the body? Your body has no biological use for cadmium. And the main concern, the one with the strongest evidence, is your kidneys. Cadmium has a biological half-life of roughly 30 years. Your body has no effective way to eliminate it. So it accumulates. And the kidney is where it concentrates most. Over decades, chronic exposure damages the tubular cells that filter your blood, leading to kidney dysfunction that is largely irreversible. It is also classified as a group 1 human carcinogen. The strongest evidence links it to lung, pancreatic, and bladder cancer. At the levels found in chocolate, we are not talking about acute risk. This is a story of slow, cumulative exposure over years across multiple dietary sources. Now, here is where it gets interesting from my perspective. Cadmium and zinc are so chemically similar, same atomic radius, similar electric charge, that your body cannot reliably distinguish between them. So cadmium can compete with zinc for absorption and for binding sites inside your cells. Why does that matter? Because zinc is a critical cofactor in DNA methylation, one of the most fundamental epigenetic mechanisms in your body. It's how your cells decide which genes to turn on and which to keep silent. So excess cadmium over time can interfere with the very machinery that regulates how your genes express themselves. I want to be precise here. Is not a chocolate will damage your DNA story. The concern is chronic, cumulative exposure, but the mechanism is real and it connects directly to the science I work in, epigenetics. Question number 3. How do I find reliable data on my brand? Several independent third-party testing organizations like Consumer Labs in the US have tested chocolate and cocoa products for cadmium and lead. A quick search will show you which brands came out cleaner. Some reports are behind a paywall, but for food you eat regularly, I think it's worth it. European food safety regulators set the maximum limits for cadmium in chocolate, significantly stricter since 2019 for dark chocolate specifically. Any products sold legally in the EU must comply. That's a real layer of protection. But the most practical tool you have costs nothing. Look for the origin on the label. A serious chocolate maker knows exactly where their cacao comes from. West African origin, lower risk. Latin American single origin, high altitude regions, worth paying closer attention. And if there's no origin information at all, that's information too. Question number 4. Is organic chocolate safer from cadmium? I get this question constantly. And the answer matters because a lot of people are spending more money on organic specifically for this reason. Organic certification protects you from synthetic pesticides. That's great. But cadmium is not a pesticide. It is not sprayed on crops. It comes from the geology of the soil. An organic farm and a conventional farm on the same land in Ecuador have identical cadmium levels. Organic and low cadmium are two completely different categories. They answer to different questions. If your concern is pesticides, organic is relevant. If your concern is cadmium, origin is what matters. Question number 5. What foods help the body defend against heavy metals? This is my favorite question because it shifts everything from what should I avoid to what can I do? Your body has a built-in defense system for managing environmental toxins, including heavy metals. The cornerstone is glutathione, the most powerful intracellular antioxidant in the human body. It actively binds to heavy metals, including cadmium, and helps remove them from circulation. Your body produces it naturally. The question is whether you are giving it the raw materials it needs. Cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, kale, arugula, Brussels sprouts, when you chew or chop them, you produce sulforaphane, an epinutrient that activates a pathway called NRF2, one of the most powerful regulators of cellular defense known to science. When NRF2 switches on, it turns on genes for detoxification and antioxidant production. This is food as biological information. Zinc-rich foods, pumpkin seeds, shellfish, oysters, quality red meat, hemp seeds. Cadmium competes with zinc for absorption. When your zinc status is optimal, cadmium has fewer open doors. Not a supplement protocol, just eating enough zinc. Sulfur-rich foods, broccoli, eggs, garlic, onion, leeks. Sulfur is the structural backbone of glutathione. Without adequate sulfur amino acids, your body simply cannot build enough of it. Now, I promised you a bonus, and here it is. Here is something most people don't know, and the research is only a few years old. Almost all commercial chocolate is made with fermented beans. But how well the beans were fermented matters. When fermentation reaches sufficiently high temperatures and adequate acidification, cadmium migrates away from the inner part of the beans toward the outer shell, where it can be separated during processing. Not all commercial fermentations achieve this consistently. The difference can be significant. Now, here's the problem. You cannot read fermentation quality on a label. Your best bet for now is checking cadmium levels directly through a third-party testing service. That's a call to action for chocolate producers. Fermentation data belongs on the label, the way origin and percentage already are. Science is there. The question is whether the industry will follow. So, let me bring this together. Cadmium in chocolate is real, but it is a geography story, not a chocolate story. Where your cacao comes from matters more than the percentage on the label or the organic seal. Your kidneys are the front line. Chronic accumulation over decades is the real concern, not one square of dark chocolate. And your body is not passive. It has molecular systems, glutathione, NRF2, zinc status that actively manage environmental challenges. Systems that run on food, on the signals you send them every single day. One comment stayed with me after my last video. It seems like there's nothing safe left to eat. I understand that feeling. But that is not what the science is saying. The science is saying your biology is dynamic. It adapts. It responds. It listens. The question is never, is this food perfect? The question is, am I building a biology that knows how to respond? Every meal is a conversation with your genes. Make it a good one. You now know how to read the geography of your chocolate, but cadmium is just one conversation your kitchen is having with your DNA. If you want the others, download my free guide, Top 5 Kitchen Hacks to Unlock Your Food's Epigenetic Superpowers. Link is below. And if you enjoyed this video, you'll love this one right here. Ciao!